Our frontline personnel, our brave personnel in uniform throughout this country are the first line of defense.
General Lady's time is expired.
Thank the gentleman. Thank the Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Gohmert.
Thank you. Secretary Mayorkas, in a meeting some of us had with you April 5th, you agreed to find out who gave the order to prevent members of Congress like me from going undeterred to the border to see for ourselves what has happened. Did you find out where that came from? Because the regional director said it came from Washington.
Congressman, I have inquired, and I'm not aware of any such order. I was not able to identify any such order, and in fact, of course, quite a number of CODELs have occurred since you and I met in April. Right,
but those normally they are escorted where they're allowed to see, instead of like those of us that have oversight of Border Patrol. We like to go down and just see for ourselves, no dog and pony tour, but see for ourselves what's happening. And you agree that is appropriate, correct?
Yes, Congressman, there are certain parameters, quite frankly, for the safety and well-being of those who wish to tour the border. So
but for a member of Congress that wants to go down, as I've done for the last 17 and a half years, we have to understand we assume the risk when we get there. So I'll make sure I have a recording of you indicating that it's okay for whomever has been given that kind of order. Now, we heard the chairman say the prior administration dismantled the immigration system. He said the prior administration did all they could to destroy the immigration system. He said they implemented a Muslim ban. And so we can set the record straight. And I know it's not intentional misleading, but even the courts have made clear there was no Muslim ban. Muslims were allowed in. There were specific countries that had extraordinary numbers of terrorists. Those were the countries where there was a ban. There was no Muslim ban. So when I do want to know, though, you say immigrants are placed in immigration proceedings, but you didn't say where they go during those proceedings. They remain in the United States. When you say somebody's placed in immigration proceedings, and then you further clarified that some are detained, if they're not detained, the vast majority go released around the country, correct?
No. Quite a significant number are placed on alternatives to detention. We use the acronym ATD. There are different levels of alternatives to detention depending on the risk profile.
But you ship many of those people that are not detained in these other categories around the country, correct?
Yes, on alternatives to detention.
And that's one of the things you're looking to increase the money for, is to pay NGOs and to have your own folks who can help get those people shipped around the country, correct?
Congressman, if I can explain.
You have asked for an increase in that amount of money, correct?
Yes, we have.
And so I'm wanting to know, though, who makes the decision where these different bus loads, plane loads, train loads, who makes the decision where they are going to go in the country?
So, Congressman, there are different tiers of disposition depending on the risk profile.
I want to know who makes those determinations. I just want to know who makes the determination. I don't have time for filibustering.
No, Congressman, I'm trying to answer your question.
Yeah, who makes that determination in those categories?
Your Honor, that's my days as a prosecutor. Congressman, Immigration and Customs Enforcement makes a determination subject to an immigration court judge as to who is placed in
Who makes that decision in ICE?
The ICE personnel with expertise make a decision with respect to who should be detained.
Wow, it sounds like a star chamber. We don't get to know who is making the decision to send people to these neighborhoods. Well, I only got 27 seconds. Let me just say, as you know, Article 4, Section 4 it says the federal government is going to keep the states free from invasion. That hadn't happened. You know, there was Pancho Villa's guys in 1916. They came in and killed 19 people in New Mexico. That was considered an invasion. We're losing 100,000 a year. What will be your response?
The time of the gentleman has expired.
When Texas
the time of the gentleman,
the invasion.
The time of the gentleman has expired, Mr.
Sir, you allowed 2 minutes beyond your time limit to let the witness answer the question.
Let me explain exactly what I'm doing so everybody knows.
Okay.
Okay. If someone has asked a question before the clock expires, I let the witness answer it.
The majority of the question was asked.
If the witness is in the process of answering a question, I let him finish. You've heard me say the time of the gentleman or gentlelady has expired, the witness may answer the question.
Correct.
You weren't asking a question.
Yes, I was.
You were stating a fact. There was no question. What is the question in front of?
Secretary, I want to join with others in thanking you for the expedited work being done at the U.S.-Mexico border near San Diego, where 700 to 1,200 Ukrainians a day are being processed, and the coordination that your staff has done. There's no question at all. They've risen to the task, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Congressman.
And I also want to thank you for the service that I know you've given as a U.S. Attorney in California. I am disappointed, and we're going to go over it at no surprise today, in your current performance. Your opening statement, you said, we inherited a broken system. I just want, if possible, a yes or no. When you said you inherited a broken system, was the system you say that was broken, did it represent less people coming over the border legally, illegally, and being admitted than today? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
So there were a lot less coming over.
The number of encounters has increased.
Okay, so the system that you're called broken was working relative to the Border Patrol not being swamped.
Oh, I wouldn't say that at all. And if I may, Congressman, when I refer to a broken system, a broken immigration system, I'm speaking of a broken system before the prior administration.
Okay, I'd be the first to say that since the 1990s, the system for legal immigration has needed reform, and it's overdue. But
that is correct, which is why
but there were no laws changed in 2004, 5, 6, 7, the many years leading up to the Biden administration, and yet we clearly have a huge influx of people, and your Border Patrol, to be specific, they said 18 months ago we were on the border, today we are on our back. That is from the Border Patrol, and I think it's extremely important. You said that the border is secure previously. I'm hoping you someday recant that. When you look at behind me, that was taken 4 or 5 days ago on a Codell, and that is the current border with the opening that your administration continues to leave in a fence where you've sold off the fence. Now, is that a secure border by any stretch of the imagination?
So, Congressman, if I can go back to an initial point that you made with respect to the broken immigration system, fundamentally what we need is legislation to fix it.
Mr. Secretary,
which is why I added.
Mr. Secretary, I have very limited time, and I want to hear your
which
answers.
is why I added the word dismantled, which is what the prior administration did. But with respect to the security of the border,
Mr. Secretary, I appreciate that you want us to legislate, as I do. But your job is to enforce the law as it is. Your Border Patrol's job is to deter and deny people's entrance unless they have a bona fide ability, and you're not doing that. So let me just go through a couple of quick questions. Your own Border Patrol, Chief, would you? Chief Ortiz had said, they've got me a muzzle on me. That is a quote I got from multiple Border Patrol agents of what he's saying. That muzzle appears to be telling us on Codells just how bad it is. Having said that, we saw it for ourselves. Mr. Secretary, I'm going to cut right to the chase. Title 42 is something that is being talked about a lot right now. When is Title 42 going to end?
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
No, just a date.
Yeah.
May 23rd?
The CDC said May 23rd.
When we were at the border a week ago, we saw that on your orders from Washington, but I have to presume they were yours, Title 42 has already ended. Your customs people were ordered to, and they were bringing in every day as many as they could get from down in Mexico, Title 42 people that had been refused, and bringing them back in. When I asked the agent in charge, she told me that they were trying to clear the backlog completely by May 23rd. They didn't know if they were going to be able to. That is a clandestine ending of Title 42. Why did you do it?
I am not familiar with that, and that is factually incorrect.
Well, that is a statement that multiple members here on the dais saw. The question is, will you come back and give us the details of who gave that order and when it began? We have been told and we have witnessed that going on at the U.S.-Mexico border. It is going on as we speak today. So would you agree to come back and give us the details of who gave that order and whether that order was lawful?
Time of the gentleman has expired. The witness may answer the question.
Congressman, I don't know to what order you are referring. There is no clearing of the backlog as you have framed it. What we did begin to do is begin to expand the use of expedited removal under Title 8 of the United States Code, which is an enforcement mechanism to expedite the removal of individuals who do not have a valid basis to remain in the United States.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, I'll be brief. Multiple members here on the dais were told by the agent in charge the time and place that they were bringing in these individuals who were in Mexico, were remaining in Mexico. They had been refused under Title 42. NGOs were coming, bringing them there.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. This is the same side of the aisle that's complained. You've now had an extra minute, Mr. Issa, to make your point.
It's not a point of order. Finish quickly, please.
So very quickly. I just want to make sure the record, I understand that the Secretary may not know about it, but there were multiple members who were told this by a uniformed agent. I just want to make sure that was the record. I thank the gentleman.
Thank you.